Hello, everybody. How's it going? This is the Kycast or podcast. No, Kycast. I'm going to call it the Kycast. That sounds cool. This is Kycast number 1, recorded on Sunday, March 5th at 1:02 in the morning. Take 2. Oh, God. Yeah, so I'm doing this now. This is a thing. Oh, brother. All right. Well, yeah. So, you guys or gals out there, it's me, Kyden Fox HD, as my YouTube handle calls it. Yep, I'm going to be starting out with a podcast of my own, more of a test, really, testing out Audacity and seeing, all the quirks that come along with it. Yeah, so I'm an 18-year-old furry, originating from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canadian. I've been Canadian all my life. Haven't really done or traveled much. I went to Jamaica twice with family. Other than that, I went to Prince George. Prince George was cool. More visiting relatives. Yeah. I am the busiest person, or I guess busiest 18-year-old ever. No questions asked. Currently I'm working like 2 part-time jobs. I used to work 4, trying to make all that money, you know what I mean? It's 1 a.m. Please give me a break. Anyways, yeah, I have a couple notes in front of me. They read off like who I am, where I'm from, what I want and what I like. I also wrote what I enjoy, but what I like and what I enjoy is the same thing. And what I have done. Oh God, what have I done? So let's just start. So, where I'm from, British Columbia. Vancouver. Currently living in Toronto. I went from Vancouver to Winnipeg. Then from Winnipeg moved to a town called Curtis, which is in Ontario. Then from Curtis I moved to Whitby, and then I actually moved houses in Whitby. I moved pretty much right across the street. There was a couple houses being built, pretty much across the street. It was like a 3-story house, I believe. Basement, first floor, then top floor, yeah. And that was quite the upgrade from a, what are those houses called? The ones that are bungalow? Is that a bungalow if it only has 1 floor? The houses that only have 1 floor and a basement, maybe. Whatever that is, I lived in before I moved to a 3-floor house. And then from there, I moved to Toronto, and that's where I live now. So I live in an apartment, living it up for about 4 years now. So I am a furry as well. Have been that way since 2013. Oh, 2013, what a year. Exposed to so much. Oh, what have I done? Yeah, I guess I could talk about Sona. I mean, I had a lot of changes to my Sona. I mean, I do have my FA linked on my YouTube channel, so you can take a look at my previous Sona. Both of my Sonas were fennec foxes, one of which was cyan colored with cyan colored white fur, red hair with streaks in it. That was when I was really hipster and really into like metalcore. Then I toned it down, and now I'm just a more of a cinnamon colored, regular looking fennec with 2 different eye colors, with a necklace that is surprisingly not a rupee from Legend of Zelda, but is instead the necklace worn by Dante from Devil May Cry, or DMC Devil May Cry, except it's green instead of red. Yeah, I got a question about that. Yeah, it's not the rupee, it's from DMC Devil May Cry. Get it right. I'm just kidding. I have a fair amount of art. I mean, of these Sonas, you can definitely take a look at it if you want. However, my prime focus, obviously, while doing this, is for YouTube. I started getting into YouTube a long time ago. Sorry, excuse me one second. I had a buildup. I've been drinking Diet Coke. uh, where was I? YouTube. So so how it went really was okay. So I started uploading a ton of YouTube streams, like streaming to YouTube from a PS4, thinking that it was a smart idea. Because YouTube actually saves the streams and posts them to your channel, so it counts as a video. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to upload so many videos. Then going back at them and looking at them and seeing how absolutely terrible they are, I was like, holy shit, this is unwatchable. It's 4 hours of me trying to get a single bulletproof vest. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then you can. It's like 4 videos dedicated to it, and one of them is 4 hours long, and the other one's 2, I think. Yeah, content was unwatchable. So then I started uploading these little mini montages, mostly Rainbow Six Siege and UFC. I believe I uploaded a work in progress, which contained Battlefield 4 as well as Black Ops. Those were pretty interesting. I mean, all the music was copyrighted, so I couldn't really use any of it for monetizing, even if I was going to make a buck off of YouTube, which clearly I'm not really doing that right now, but not really the main concern. I more enjoy content creating. Those videos, I'm not gonna lie, I do still like them. I mean, I definitely can pick them apart for errors. However, a big part of those videos was Macy J, a famous Rainbow Six Siege YouTuber, had a very cool editing trick when it came into transitions regarding Rainbow Six. So, for example, using the R4C weapon, which is given to Ash, and Jaeger's, I believe it's the P416? I'm not entirely sure. They look relatively similar, and I only used one camo for all of my weapons. It was a universal camo. So seeing as 2 weapons for the attacking and defending side look sort of similar, including the reload animations, I was able to transition in between Ash and Jaeger on the fly if I wanted to cut to some Ash footage, ass footage totally. Ass reveal at 1,000 subs, so I didn't forget about that. It's still happening. So we got Ash's R4C and Jaeger, which both have same reloading animations. So if I wanted to swap between my 2 most favorite two most played operators, I would be able to now without having to just do a hard cut. So I can make it look kind of stylish. You can definitely see that on my quote on another level video. Yeah. So after that, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. I mean, the quality obviously is taking a hit, seeing as I'm transferring. I believe the PS4 records in 720p, but then it compresses it, so it looks somewhat worse. So then I was like, okay, this is good. This is. And then I found a YouTuber named Zenny, who uploaded the very famous Zabivaka video. Sure, if you've stumbled upon my channel, you've probably seen it at this point. I'll leave a link in the description if you haven't. Sorry, excuse me. Oh my god, I have like a gas buildup in my throat. It's bothering me. Blech. Go away. I'm doing a podcast. I can't get over it. It's bothering me. Anyways, so I met up with Zenny and I sent him a Twitter DM, and I believe it was like, yo, you're really cool. Your videos are pretty sweet. We should definitely collab sometime. And I believe the first sort of collaboration I ever did with him was on his QA video. Or no, it was definitely the Battle Block video that we did. Zenny and I both streamed Battle Block Theater, the most difficult playlist on Battle Block, and it took us like 4 hours to beat. Like, that is the stream. It took us 4 hours. And then I was like, holy shit, this is just like, this is gold. I mean, I'm playing with this really cool YouTuber dude, and he's also a furry. Wow. Uh, yeah, no, I get to chill out with him. This is sweet. And not only that, I get to also upload these like videos to YouTube, and it's gonna look great. Now, originally, what the plan was is I was going to be uploading the stream into parts, but then I discovered something very interesting, something that's known as the crop to fill feature. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have some fun with this. And fun I did, because pretty much the majority of the battle block playthrough is me zooming in on funny shit or zooming in for comedic effect, which I don't know, I find it hilarious. If you don't, that's fine, but I found it pretty funny. And then I'm like, I can go a step up. I can start editing some stuff into it, like pictures or maybe a GIF or something like that, or GIF, whatever you want. It's up to you. I'll leave it. I'll start uploading like stuff and adding into it. And as I started doing this, I started building a really sound foundation. I discovered something about myself at that point. I was like, I love editing. I love doing this, especially when it was like all fun. It was every single aspect of it was fun. Playing a game with Zenny, that was awesome. Great guy. Let's like uploading the whole stream for everybody to watch. That's great. Then I get to actually go through the footage again, edit all the parts that I found hilarious, and then edit them some more. I don't know. It was fun for me. So I finally got the whole series done. And if you're wondering, actually in part 3, it was really quiet. I struggled editing with that one because it was around 2:30 at like 2:30 on a Tuesday, I think, like 2:30 in the morning. And my parents were like, you got to shut the hell up. Like, we can't have you screaming at, like, as loud as you are, because we're going to head to sleep. And, of course, I live in an apartment, right? So I can't really be as loud as I was previously. So I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So I'll be quiet. So I'm really quiet, and I'm like whispering into the microphone like this, like half the time, just being really pissed off. And so, yeah, we eventually did it. Special thanks goes out to a YouTuber and a really awesome fan named Kinu, who stuck with us the entire time, gave us moral support, was pretty much our cheerleader. That was really awesome, Kinu. Thanks, man. Anyways, I don't even remember where I was going with this. I really enjoy editing, is what I'm trying to say. So, back on track, I guess. So I started editing these videos, and it kind of took off for me. So I was like, I can try and make a name for myself right now as a furry gaming YouTuber who uploads edited clips from streams. I'd love doing that. And plus, with the added ability, I guess, to add loops to GarageBand, because most of the music that you hear in my videos, if not used for a joke like Rules of Nature was in my last video, yeah, that was game. Yeah. So Rules of Nature was used. But other than that, all the music that is used is from me using GarageBand, which is pretty sweet. This is going to drive me mental, that gas buildup in my throat. Blah. Drives me mental. Yeah. Yeah, so I just I was like, I'm going to make a name for myself doing this. This is what I think is going to just be absolutely amazing for me, and I am going to do it. And then sorry, I was talking about music. Sorry, it's like 1 a.m. at this point. I'm so tired. And yeah, so I make my own music via GarageBand to try and avoid copyright and all that. So I have gotten a couple copyright strikes from my own music, which I always find hilarious, but whew, voice crack. But, it comes with the territory. YouTube's copyright system is pretty scattered at the moment, so I'm not going to complain about it now. I mean, I have as much time as I want. Actually, I can complain as long as I want about it. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So, yeah, I wanted to do that. I wanted to begin my journey in YouTube. I want to actually make a name for myself. As cliche as this sounds, I want to inspire other people that are like me. I know I'm not a popular YouTuber. I know. I mean, 144 subs. I love you all, by the way. I love every single one of you who managed to take the time and click that subscribe button. You mean the world to me. But what I want to make very clear is I want to inspire people. People who want to just... it doesn't take anything, really. I mean, I didn't have a fancy... any fancy material. All the videos that you see right now that are on my YouTube channel are all uploaded via iMovie. Those are iMovie edited, all of them. And I mean, back, I think, before the Gang Beast playthrough, all of the audio was recorded via earbuds. It was all earbuds and that. It was just earbuds in a dream. But yeah, so it doesn't take a lot. I mean, you can go out of your way and just try and make a name for yourself, and just the 144 people that are supporting me right now, it means the world. And yeah, it's really sweet. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so I went through who I am, where I'm from. Oh, let's talk about work. Anyways, I could probably talk about work for a bit now. I mean, okay, let's start from the very beginning. So, I was about 16 years old, and I got my first job at a restaurant called Fat Phil's. Now, Fat Phil's was a burger joint. Burger joint that I believe there was one other location in Toronto. And, yeah, that was the worst thing I've ever done in my entire life. I know. I'm 16, I'm 18 now, and that was the worst thing that's ever going to happen to me in my entire life. Definitely. Man, the management was just so piss poor. I mean, I got the job because it was my first job, and I think the dude felt pity for me. But it was right across the street, so very prime location, just right across the street from my house. And I had no idea what I was doing. I just held the spatula and looked at the grill, and I'm like, I am going to make a burger. And I had no idea what the fuck I was going to do. But, yeah. I have a lot of weird stories there. I think the best story I have, which is 100% true, I've told every single person I've ever met this story. However, I was working one day, came in around 12:30 p.m., just kind of, picking up an afternoon shift, came in, and already it was smelling really bad in the store, just absolutely horrible. And I was like, ugh, like, Jesus Christ, like, what is that? Anyways, whatever, I gotta go to work. So I'm the fry guy. I was the fry guy that day, so I'm kind of just drenching fries in hot oil. And as some of you may know, grills tend to have these little carrying things underneath it. So when all the ash and all the burnt stuff from the burgers falls from the burger, it will land in this little tray. However, you have to empty the tray after every single day. Poet. You have to empty the tray. You have to do that. However, Phil, the one responsible for emptying the tray, neglected to do so. He actually forgot to do that. So, the store caught on fire. I was working the fries. I look over, and barrels and just absolutely tremendous smoke everywhere. And then all of a sudden, just boom, just flames just burst from the grill, like absolutely out of control. Phil is freaking out because he had very cheap supplies. It was like paper plates and paper cups. However, he placed them over top of the grill. So he's losing all of his plates. So what he does is he knocks over the plates trying to extinguish all the materials. But now that's on the floor. Catches a girl's one of our employees, burns her leg, so she runs out, and she's nursing whatever the hell happened to her. I haven't spoken to her since, to be honest. She's freaking out. I'm still working the grill. I have my shirt like over my nose, like I'm holding it over my nose as a sort of makeshift gas mask, because the reason why I wasn't able to run out is because Phil, being him, just goes, "No, no, everybody, it's fine. We're gonna stay right here. It's okay." I'm like, are you seeing the fire that's taking over the fucking joint? I don't think this is fine. And he goes, "No, it's fine." So I'm like, okay. And yeah, so that happened. And then, to make matters even worse, he decides, I'm going to empty the grill. So he goes and he pulls the grill out from beneath, or pulls the tray underneath from the grill while it's burning. So he pulls it out, and then he pretty much has a plate of fire at this point. He's holding it, but then this complete crazy psychopath decides it'd be a good idea to start, like, what's a good analogy for this to help you understand what I'm talking about? Do you know when you have like a bunch of paper? Let's imagine you have a bunch of pieces of paper, but they're all kind of sticking out. So you kind of smack them against the table to make them all even, right? You kind of get what I'm saying? So you have like a bunch of paper scattered around, so you grab a handful of it, and it's all just kind of crazy and all messy. You slap it against the table a bit on the flat side, and it'll kind of even out, and it'll be all I guess, straight again. He tried to do that with himself with the ash. He started tapping the back of it, pushing the ash towards himself. So I could see it happening. His flab, he was a pretty heavy guy, by the way. His flab was over top of the grill. So it was actually falling onto his stomach. So then he got burned excruciatingly bad because he let out a gut-wrenching scream, and he dropped the tray onto the ground. So now we have this thing of fire that has now scattered on the floor, onto this oil-soaked floor because of all the fries that I had been making. So I just kind of get out of the way as the fire just pretty much encapsulates the fries, and I'm just looking at Phil. I'm like 16-year-olds, and I'm a 16-year-old, and I'm stupid. So I'm just kind of looking at him like, sir, the fries are on fire. And he's just like, dude, okay, we gotta do something. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get people out of here. That was my first goal. Not trying to be all heroic and everything, but believe it or not, even with a bunch of fire and obviously just a horrible environment to be in, customers were still sitting outside waiting for their food, like waiting in the waiting room. And I'm like, have you got nowhere else to be? Excuse me. So I'm like, I gotta go tell these customers to go. Like, I need to tell them to leave. So I'm about to leave, and he grabs me by he didn't grab me. He more like waved over to me. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. Just open up the back door, and we'll let all the all the fire go through. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. So we open up the back door, and I kid you not, this dude gets a rubber bucket, like the Fisher Price rubber bucket and rubber shovel playset, and is shoveling hot, boiling soot and ash into this bucket, and I can see it like malforming at the base, just slowly sinking, slowly starting to I guess I don't know what a good word for it is. Basically slowly molding, breaking itself down. It's going to just pour right through at any second. Pours down, goes through onto his foot, burns his foot, and then I was just like, fuck this, and I left. I went home at that. I went out the back door, and I went right home, and I'm covered in ash. And my mom is like, what the hell happened? And I'm like, I don't know, I lost my job. Yeah, that was the worst experience I've ever had in a store. So then after that, I believe my next job was at a place, it was a French bakery. I'm going to leave it nameless because Fat Phil's actually went down in bankruptcy after being $17,000 into debt. So it just shut down out of nowhere. The building is still there in Toronto. You can still see it. It's still right across the street from my place. It's ridiculous, but yeah. Oh, and so the next place that I ended up working at was a French bakery, which was hilarious because of the fact that I only worked there for about a half an hour. How did you work there for a half an hour, you say? Well, I took an interview over the phone. So they called me up after I gave a resume there, just looking for some work. And they were like, "Oh, hello there. How are you?" And I'm like, "I'm doing very well." And he's like, "How would you like to actually come in for a shift on Saturday?" And I'm like, "That would be awesome. Yeah, I'd love that." And I was just looking for any like extra money. I think I was trying to buy a PS4, I think, or a new phone. I can't remember. So I came in and or sorry, like I got the job. I got the job over the phone, and I spoke to an English speaking representative there, and then they left and they gave me like the apron and everything, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then I hear, qu'est-ce qui se passe? And I'm like, oh man, they all speak French. I don't speak French. I don't. And so I had just gotten myself a job where I don't speak the language. Been around the world, don't speak the language. A Canadian needs explaining. No. But I didn't speak the language that they were trying to teach me with. Like they were trying, I think they were trying to teach me how to do certain things, but I didn't understand. And it got into the point where they just put me into a corner with a notebook, and I didn't even know what they wanted me to do. They just sat me down. They just kind of pointed in a chair and they gave me a notebook, and I'm like, okay. And then so she got down on one knee, the associate that was working there. She got down on one knee, and I was like, okay, this is weird. And she just started talking to me in French, and then I just went, excuse me, oh my God. Wow. So sorry about this, by the way. It's just like I have this weird gas thing in my throat. It's driving me mental today. So she gets down on a knee and she's just like, blah, 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 French. I'm like, okay, yeah, no. So I just took off my apron and my shirt because it was a shirt too. I didn't have a shirt underneath it and it was summer. So I just took off my shirt, revealing my beautiful six-pack flabs. And I was like, I can't. I'm sorry, but I can't. That is the exact words that I used too. And so I gave them both the things, and they immediately understood. They were like, I 100% understand what's going on. And I went home, and my first instinct was to actually call my friend Henry. Henry lived in the area, and my mom, I was pretty young still, but my mom was like pretty adamant about me working, like at this age. And so if she knew that I blew a job, she would have been pretty mad. So I was like, Henry, can I go to your place for a bit and just kind of stay there for about 4 hours? No answer. So I just kind of got home and I was like, yeah, it didn't work out. Uh, yeah, no. And then surprisingly, she was like, oh, okay, no worries. And then my mom went out of her way to get me a job in a gelato ice cream place. I forget how she got it for me. I think it was something to do with a real estate agent who knew the owner of a gelato restaurant who was hiring. So then they kind of went through the whole thing and got me the job that way. So I showed up for my first day, and the manager was a dick. He was the meanest person I've ever met. Well, no, I'm going to take that back. I work in retail, so that's a pretty bold statement. But he was the meanest manager I've ever had. The first thing he did was he called out how I looked, and he said, I don't think you're even fit to be working with some caliber guys like us. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird to say. I mean, is this a rehearsal for a porn shoot, or is this a gelato restaurant? Because I'm not entirely sure. So, of course it's being paid skeevily. I'm being paid with money from the cash register, so I'm like, yeah, okay, this is like already bullshit. And he's like doing that like he's mansplaining to me. No, he's like, he gets behind me and he's like helping me scoop ice cream, even though I easily know how to do it at this point. I mean, it's just like you do the little twirl around the cup. It's easy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just take my word for it. It's an easy thing to do. And he just wanted to, I guess, show his other workers, and he wanted to use me as an example or whatever. But yeah, so then I got the idea, and I was just like, I want to get fired from here, but I kind of want to gross him out at the same time. I want to start fucking with him. So I went to Whitby. Like I was working at that gelato place for about 2 weeks. And I traveled back to Whitby to visit a couple of my friends. And when I was there, I was walking with my friend from the train station towards his house, and we stopped by a piercing place. And Rowan, my friend is Rowan, he looked at me and he's just like, dude, you should get an ear piercing. And I was like completely against me. I'm just like, yeah, why not? I'll get an ear piercing. Try. I'll get it on the gay ear, the right ear. And it's a cartilage piercing. So it went on the ear. And so I got that done. My mom was surprisingly 100% cool with it. So long as I paid for it and all that. So I was like, all right, yeah, blah, 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 I'll do it. So I got that. And then when I got back, I had to start like kind of cleaning it and all that, like making sure I kept it clean and uninfected and all that. So I would use that as an excuse to fuck off from work. I would go, just say if there was a bunch of people coming into the store all at once, seeing as I hated working there in that environment because there were a lot of uptight people who would always like start accusing you because like all the names for the gelato were Italian and no one could pronounce it, and I would always look like the idiot whenever I tried to make sense of it. So pretty much the guy, he would like, people would come walking in and then I'd be like, boss, I need to go to the washroom real quick. And then I'd wash my piercing and I'd take like 5 minutes to do it. And I'd come back and the line would be gone. I'd do this every single time. And then he eventually goes, he's just like, you need to stop going to the washroom. And I'm just like, would you like me to infect your ice cream, sir? That was the quote I used. And I promptly got fired. However, I looked at him. I'm not joking because I had friends in backup there. I had like my friend there who was like ordering, and I told him to come that day, or I told him to stop by. And then yeah, I looked at him and I'm like, you can pay my severance check via, or you can say, you can pay my severance via check, bitch. And I left, and I was like 17. And the guy was like, yeah, all right, you can expect no pay at all. But then I'm like, that's illegal. So 2 weeks later, I go back with the same guy. I go back with Reese, and he owed me like a lot of money. Like, let's just say like a lot of money. He owed me like around $150. So not really a lot, but like an average paycheck for a full-time, I guess, employee. Really shitty one. So I went back and then I was like, okay, yeah, so I want to get my money now. Like, can I have my final paycheck? Because it wasn't direct deposit. It was all check based, of course, it being that kind of company. And I was like, so he goes and he just goes into the cash register and he gives me $30 and a fucking toonie. He gives me a toonie. So I have $32? Really? Oh my God, you owe me like another $120 still. Never got that money. Never did. So, well, that sucks. Oh, yeah, that was pretty terrible. What next, though? So I went from the gelato place, and then I do believe this is where shit began to get really interesting. This was when I worked at I'll say it, Aeropostale, because there's a lot of them. I worked at a very big mall location in Toronto. I don't know why I'm trying to I'm going to try and keep it sort of hidden, like kind of like secret. I don't know really what I'm going to do. I worked at like the location. I worked at a really big mall location for Aeropostale, blah, blah, blah. So I got the job because I told them I was gay. There is no doubt in my mind. There is 100% no doubt in my mind that is not the reason I got the job. The minute I brought up the fact that I am a homosexual, they were all over me. They're like, oh my God, that's fabulous. You're going to fit in amazing here. We have everything your culture loves. Like, that was the word they chose. I'm like, oh, great, cool. So do you have like Ghost Recon games and Xbox One? Ooh, no, I don't play Xbox One. I play PS4. Yeah. Where was I going with this? Yeah. So I worked at Aeropostale. I didn't think I did too bad. I think I was actually a pretty good employee. I did everything that they asked, especially like clothing, I guess clothing marketing, I guess like sales, selling people clothes. I was really good at that. Except apparently I talked too much, which was completely understandable. And I also got a little tidbit that apparently the manager isn't what she thought I would be. And I'm like, oh, she found out that I'm kind of like this discreet gay guy who's still into video games and has a bit of masculinity. Oh God, like that kind. So the minute that they discovered that, I got a call from like corporate pretty much the next day. And they're like, yeah, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to let you go. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of shitty. It was my first retail job. But reminder, this is going back to all the way with my fursona that had red hair and piercings and was really like hipster and metal. Sorry. Ooh. But this gas thing is gonna drive me mental. I got a job at Hot Topic. I started working at Hot Topic for a year. Oh my God, I'm actually just gonna freak out about this gas thing. It's driving me mental. Blah. So yeah, I had a job at Hot Topic. Worked there for a year. Have a lot of crazy stories, which I'll probably save for future podcasts. Yeah. Sorry. I'm really sorry about this. This is like so unprofessional, I know. It's just like, I don't know what happened. Probably something I ate today, or I don't know. But yeah, so with Hot Topic, I was a really good fit there. I mean, I was only greeter because of my experience with sales, which greeter meaning it's the person that goes like, oh my God, buy one, get one half off. Like the person who bugs the shit out of you, who you just kind of look at and you're like, okay, that's it. That's all you really get. Or do you know where this specific item that I already kind of know is in the store is kind of person? Or do you have this item kind of person? I was that guy. So I had to know everything about the store. And yeah, so I worked there for a good year. My very first shift was on October 31st. Or no, it was whatever Halloween was when I started working first. And it was funny. Of course, I'm trying to like kiss up to the managers at the very first of my like beginning. Like it was my dream to actually, it was my dream. It was my goal to work at Hot Topic. I wanted to try it out because I really did like what they had there at the time. So I'm like, I gotta kiss ass to the managers. But the manager was just like, so I would really like it if you would purchase one of our Halloween costumes, the ones that we sell here. I'm like, okay, yeah, let me see them. What's up? I don't really dress up for Halloween, by the way. But so I look at them, and it's $150 for a makeshift like Joker costume. I'm like, huh, fuck that. So I just go out and I borrow my friend's banana costume, being me and all. So I show up to work wearing my banana costume, and I forever got the name Peels. That was the name that was given to me at work because of that. And then, funny enough, I ditched Hot Topic after they continuously made me go to meetings that were like 2 a.m, like meetings that would end at 2 a.m. And it's like, I have class at 6. Like, can we just like, or like I have to be up at 6. Like, can I not go to these? Like, just can somebody? I'm the greeter. I don't need to know any of this stuff. And she's like, no, you should really consider your position in this establishment if you're gonna keep on leaving. And I'm like, or if you're gonna keep on avoiding these. I'm like, yeah, I'll quit. Yeah. So I gave my lanyard in and I headed out the door. Everybody was like super into me too. It was really sad because like everybody was like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss you. And I'm like, literally, it's not like I'm dying or anything. I'll be back. Don't worry. And that I am. I'll get into that later. So then after that, I went about a month without a job, which was good because I got to focus on school a lot. No joke. I actually focused a lot on my class. I was in grade 11 at that time. And then I was like, yeah, this is really cool. Then I got a job at HMV. Oh man, that was really cool. I was hired as a seasonal employee, seasonal regarding Christmas time mostly. However, my first shift was on Halloween. No joke. My very first shift was once again on Halloween, and I wore the exact same banana costume that was actually given to me by my friend Reese after the Hot Topic one. He just didn't want it back. So, yeah, after that, I was like, oh, this is actually super sweet. Cool. Like, cool. And so I worked there, and until now, HMV recently announced that they were actually going bankrupt, and everybody's going to be out of a job on April the 30th. Sorry, give me one sec. Gas. I've gas in my throat. It's gonna drive me mental. It's like a hiccup that I feel. I have like a hiccup. It comes up and I'm like, and it just goes away. It's so annoying. Yeah. Yeah. So then I worked as the greeter at HMV. So instead of buy one get one 20, it's all CDs are 25% off. Like that kind of shit. I was a really good employee. I actually got my friend Reese the job at HMV too because I wanted to have somebody to talk with as well. So I got my high school friend a job at the same establishment. It was pretty cool. We only worked like one shift together though, which was kind of shitty. But I mean, yeah. So up until that, yeah. Now I'm kind of on the hunt now for another job due to the fact that HMV is kind of shutting down. I mean, I love HMV. I wish it would stay. Apparently, a lot of them are being replaced with Sherwood Records. Or no, Sunrise Records. I'm sorry. So that would be a good place to work. I do enjoy my fair share of music, obviously. So that would be very good for me. Yeah, so that was my work stories. I didn't really go much into stories. I mean, Hot Topic, I think I talked about this before. However, there was a guy who came in with an actual sharpened samurai sword, and he was wearing the Akatsuki outfit from Naruto. I had to look it up after, of course. I had to look up what he was wearing, of course. He promptly got arrested because he was showing people how sharp it was, including myself. I was the first one he talked to. He came in and he was like doing this horribly racist Japanese accent. He was clearly white. Yeah, and he was like showing off his sword, and I'm like, dude, this is technically a weapon. And so I'm like, all right, we gotta go call Paul Blart. He's gotta come handle this. And Paul Blart, the security cop, mall cops come in, take him, and then he starts sort of resisting. And because of the fact that he does technically have a weapon, they had to actually call the real police in. And when the real police came in, yeah, he pretty much just got arrested on the spot. Other than that, I saw my manager almost get beat up by like 4 kids, like teenagers, and who was like that, like one of them had like long pink hair, the other one was like a really short chick with a leather jacket, and who promptly threw it on the ground and was like, put your dukes up, we're gonna fight right now. You're banned from the store, lady. This is something you just start fighting about. You don't win the fight and then you get to come here again. I'm sorry. It's not like Highlander. But, yeah. HMV, nothing crazy interesting happened. I mean, one time I was working... No, I wasn't working cash. It was the cash right next to me. Poor Jeff. I feel so bad for him. He had to go through this. So recently... there's these things called pure HMV cards, and these pure cards had like little points. It's like an Air Miles card in a way, that you get points for each like purchase and blah blah blah. However, because of the fact that HMV is going to be going bankrupt, we shut down the cards, and there wasn't a lot of news about it. We didn't kind of broadcast this very well. So a lot of people were caught off guard when they discovered that the pure cards were no longer going to be working. And there was a guy who was extremely unhinged. He came up to the cash register, purchased like a couple vinyl records and I don't know, some other stuff. And he goes, okay, yeah, and here's my pure card. And Jeff goes, I'm sorry, sir, we actually don't accept those anymore. However, if you do have a gift card, we do accept those. I'm so sorry about that. And this guy, out of nowhere, goes, if you're sorry about that, then I'm sorry about this. And he grabs, like, we have like a bunch of displays right next to the cash register, and he just slides his hand across and just knocks all of it off the cash register, or like off of the display, and it beams an old lady in the head. And Jeff just goes like, hey, like, knock that shit off, security. And this guy named Ferris, who's just the biggest badass I've ever seen in my entire life, he's just the greatest security guard you could ever ask for, comes in, promptly kicks his ass out the door. Before it was like very great, amazing stuff, but that was really bad. There was also this guy who came in once. This was on the 29th, February the 29th. This guy came in. Goes up to the cash register, talking to my manager, Derek, and goes, he obviously didn't know his first name. And he goes, yeah, here's my gift card. I'm going to be paying it with it entirely. And Derek goes, I'm sorry, sir, but all gift cards expire on the 28th. And the guy goes, and he goes and he just takes it, picks it up, and like a little baby just picks up the stuff from the cash, like from the little table where the cash register is, just drops it on the ground and just walks away. And as he's walking away, just goes, motherfucking piece of shit, I'm so fucking tired of this fucking bullshit. And I kind of look at him, and then I just kind of like, I go, like, I'm not joking. I'll get into this, why I'm actually saying this stuff after. But I go and I go, buddy, hey, if this is the worst thing that's happened to you today, then I can imagine you've had an actually pretty good day. He just kept on walking, but like, I thought it was pretty badass. However, the reason why we're able to say this is because of the fact that we kind of have HMV in a slight chokehold at this point. Because HMV is not in any position to fire anybody because of the fact that you're not able to hire anybody when it's in a state of bankruptcy. You can't hire new employees when you're like that. And so you can't fire anybody. So we've had instructions from the employees, or from managers now, that you are allowed to talk back. If somebody's giving you shit about something that you can't control, you are 100% obligated to tell them off, to go, look, sir, you are not allowed, blah, 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 which is just incredible because I now have the ability to go, hey, why the hell are you guys not selling these things anymore? Then I can just go like, because we're not selling them. What do you want? We don't have suppliers anymore. And I love the faces that they usually get when they get their shit pushed back into them. It's just like, okay. And then they just walk away. Because you can't insult an employee to their face and then just like have it thrown back and just not be caught off guard slightly by it. Like, it doesn't really work that way. Oh man, we're approaching 48 minutes. Oh, we're at 48 minutes. Cool. Anyways, yeah. That was work. Holy shit, I've been talking about work for like 30 minutes now. That's cool. Any cool stories? I'm going to keep Whitby stories for another podcast, probably number 2, because I have a lot of those and a lot of them are pretty funny. So I'm going to keep those for next day. I feel like I should start talking about the future of my channel, like what I want from this channel. Like, hold on, sorry, one sec. God damn it. Seriously, I just have the worst day. The day that I choose to do my podcast is the day that I just apparently have like friggin', I don't know, a gas station like just in my stomach right now. I'm so petite as well. I'm only 130 pounds, sir. This gas station will not fit. If you're a fox, anything will fit. Ayo. No, okay. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, future of the channel. So, the thing that I want the most for this channel is I would say, you know what, I'm not gonna lie, I do want growth. I do want to grow my channel slightly. I want to get a bit of a wider fan base, and it's not just because seriously, I couldn't care about YouTube revenue at this point. It's not like, I don't know. It's not really, I don't want to have this as a job. Like, not yet, at least. That's kind of an asshole thing to say. Not yet. I want to have a wider base so I can get a sort of understanding of what clicks with people and what doesn't, like what I should and shouldn't. Well, not really common sense wise, more of what's entertaining and what's not. I mean, I did a 100 subscriber special Q&A, which technically I still am pretty proud of. I think I did a pretty good job with it. However, I want to get a wider fan base just so I can, like talk with it more and more like talk with it and interact and see what's kind of going on. Be able to do some community stuff and hang out with other, furries and all that. Yeah. Oh, man. What else? I'm not sure if I'm going to keep up with this podcast. Maybe, depending on how I really do feel about the whole spiel. I mean, if I can keep my mouth flapping indefinitely for as long as I want, I will definitely keep on doing it. However, I just want to make sure it stays entertaining. I think this one will be pretty entertaining. I'm sure it's gotten a bit annoying with the constant hiccups and, that I've constantly been doing. I'm going to try and get better at that. However, I do want to entertain the possibility of doing a community podcast named Kycast, containing members, Zenny, and a YouTuber and I guess programmer by the name of Dayton. And so we are planning on doing a podcast. It's going to be, we're not sure when it will start. However, we're going to be very psyched when it does happen. And I'll definitely let all of you guys know what's going on. I'll tell you all. Other than that, though, I feel it is necessary to also address my other content, like my video games and all that. So, if you've been kind of keeping active with the channel, you'll notice that there's been a relative slowdown with the content that I have had. That is sadly because of the fact that I'm not going to refer to it as a console. I'm using a Mac to play games on right now. I use a MacBook to play all these games. You'd be surprised. That's why with Gang Beasts, you're actually viewing it from Wolf's perspective, because Wolf was able to run the game and record it using OBS, as opposed to me, who would only hit around 12 frames if I were to do that. Yeah, so that's why there's going to be a slight slow of content, other than podcasts. And that is because of the fact that I really can't record anything until I buy a PC. And no. I'm not going to be asking any of you for money. I'm not. Don't worry. This isn't like a whole support me on Patreon, give me a new PC so I can make videos, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not going to be doing that. Like, this isn't turning into anything. I promise. I'm buying it on my own. You just got to give me time because I got to get the money. I'm probably going to buy one with a GTX 1080 and blah, 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 like $2,300, whatever. Also, if you guys want to let me know what a good PC is, let me know down in the comments. I'll look into that. By the way, I also love it when you guys leave comments. It actually is like the coolest thing. I love it when you leave comments. Yeah, so that's why there's going to be a slow of content, because of the fact that I really can't find a lot of games that are entertaining to play on Mac, that will run on Mac. Sure, you've got Gang Beasts, which is amazing to play. However, it can wear out really fast, as I found. What was it? Battle Block was pretty fun. That was good. And I am able to run Gary's mod. However, there is no way in hell that I'm going to be able to stream it. So I'm going to have to use somebody else's recording of it and edit it down that way. I am also in the works of doing a Portal 2 Let's Play. I have all the recording. The recordings are all done. However, once again, they are from Wolf's perspective, my boyfriend. They are all from his perspective. So that kind of brings up a weird sort of situation that I'm in, where I will be reacting to stuff on my end, and like Wolf will have no idea what I'm talking about, because a lot of the Portal puzzles require you to be separated from your partner and kind of work together from a distance. So it can be kind of confusing sometimes as to what's going on and what I'm laughing about, because I laugh at everything pretty much. But yes. Oh man, this is really cool. I feel like I can really get used to this podcast. I feel like I can really start. I mean, I'm just talking to a microphone at this point, but it's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh no, my Mac went to sleep. Oh no, MacBook. And so yes, I'm blanking right now. Uh-oh. YouTube, gaming, not sure. Podcasts, yes. I'm going to stay pretty active on social media. You can contact me at Kyden Fox on Twitter or at, I do have a Discord as well. Just send me a PM if you want to be invited to the Discord. Like, send me a direct message and I will send you an invite to my Discord server. It's kind of Zenny and I's Discord server, so just kind of be forewarned about that. I mean, if you for some reason hate Zenny and like me, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you, but you know. Um, yeah, so just let me know and like via Twitter DMs and I'll invite you over. It's just because I don't want to publicly give it out because, you know, at the risk of, you know, raids and all that, blah, blah, blah. So, yes. I mean, I do want to make this. I want to keep them an hour long, so let's start talking for about 4 more minutes. What can we do? I can lastly bring up the fact. Let's talk about upcoming stuff. Ooh, that'd be fun. So, I did pre-order Ghost Recon Wildlands on the PS4. Yeah. I pre-ordered it on the PS4 because obviously I don't have a PC yet, and I really do want to play it. I am really actually stoked for it. As I've said on my video before, I'm surprised this hasn't gotten as much flack as it has. One of my favorite games of all time, it's a guilty pleasure of mine, is Ghost Recon, not Advanced Warfighter, Future Soldier. Future Soldier is actually one of my favorite games of all time. And so seeing a game that pretty much has all the animations ripped from it and all the same relative mechanics, I mean, aside from it taking place in whatever that game took place in, I don't know what year it was in the year 2012, where the future has evolved. No. Yeah. It's just like, it looks really like I'm going to have like a blast with it. And I had to play it. However, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get footage. My plan here is I'm going to be streaming privately on YouTube. I'll obviously invite people via the Discord if they wanted to watch the private stream. However, it's not going to be uploaded to my channel. However, instead, I don't know if you've known this. It's really cool, actually. This is how I've gotten a lot of my earlier footage, is if you upload a video, a stream, or even anything to YouTube, you're actually able to download the video as an MP4 directly from YouTube. You don't have to use like a YouTube to MP4 converter. You actually just download the file from YouTube. It's really cool. However, the quality, of course, takes a huge hit, and I was recently trying to do a video of me playing the beta. I actually played the alpha and the beta, and I got some pretty good snipes in, like some pretty good long distance sniping. Sadly, they only gave you the ACOG scope, so it looks kind of funny. However, I was pretty proud of it. I was curving bullets like wanted at that point. So yeah, I was really proud of it. However, it was really hard to tell what was going on from the screen because it's like smaller, of course, it being on a YouTube screen. So I tried to do the crop to fill. However, once I did that, it looked more like a Jackson Pollock painting made of pixels because it was so pixely. I just couldn't tell what was going on. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Maybe it will get better with the actual release of the game. Maybe that was just a beta thing. However, I will be streaming most of the Ghost Recon Wildlands content via PS4. And it might be with Wolf. I'm not entirely sure. It might just be a one-off stream just showing off gameplay or me just screwing around. I'm not entirely sure. I'll make it up as I go along, as I usually do. Anyways, guys, we're hitting the 1 hour mark. So I just wanted to say thank you. I don't know why, but thank you so much if you managed to sit through all the uhs and all the constant just horrible unprofessionalism that I've displayed throughout this video. I promise it will get better. let me know. Give me some feedback in the comments below if you if there's anything you think I should do or maybe add. I mean, once again, this is an introductory podcast, so yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and peace out. Thank you all.